All right, here we go. Welcome back to episode 36 of the Everybody But Me show. We got Katie here on my right, we got Phil on my left, and we have a special guest today. I'm super excited to have her on. She is a two-time Sunday bestseller. She was a bestseller for a book last year in January, Manifest, and now she just launched another book, Manifest Dive Deeper. Can't wait to introduce you guys. Her name is Roxie Nafousi out of London. She's hanging out in New York City right now. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to come join us, Roxie. I am excited to have you on here. I'm excited to learn about you and about manifestation, how you got to this point. And I think manifestation is such an important thing we all need to learn and focus on more. So Roxie, welcome.
Thank you so much. Such a lovely introduction. And you pronounced Nafousi perfectly. And not everyone gets it right, so thank you.
All right. We're already off to a good start.
Yes.
There we go. But how are you? How's everything?
I'm good. So I just got to New York with the book, the orange book, Manifest, 7 Steps to Living Your Best Life, came out in the US in October. And we completely sold out of every copy in the country.
Holy cow.
That is amazing.
Which is like bittersweet because I really obviously want everybody to have it. So we've been out of stock for 8 weeks and it's back in this week. So I'm so excited to be back here promoting it and hopefully getting more people changing their lives and manifesting.
That's amazing. My book's already on the clearance rack, so you're doing better than I am.
You'd written a book, Tyler.
Yeah, I wrote a book called You Deserve Better. And it's kind of like
I love that.
Self-help book. Yeah. So it was great. So what led you to writing both your books?
So to give you I don't know how far back you want me to go, but fuck it, I'm just going to go for it.
Fuck it, go for it.
So I kind of grew up just not knowing anything about how to be happy, positive thinking was not in my vocabulary, and I had no self-worth. And when I was 18, I discovered cocaine, alcohol, cigarettes, and by 21 I was in Narcotics Anonymous, but I didn't actually give up until I was 28. So for that whole period of time I was kind of in this real battle with addiction, and at the same time was suffering from severe depression. I had absolutely no career at all. I wasn't making any money. I had been in so many toxic relationships, and I thought that that's how my life was always going to be. And I went on a yoga teacher training course in 2018 because yoga had been the safe space for me, and I thought this is going to be it. I'm going to change my life. Shit, sorry. Let me just turn that off. I'm going to change sorry guys. I've got this new laptop and all my notifications come at me without me understanding why. Okay, I've quit that. Okay, so went to this yoga teacher training course. So I came back, it was 200 hours of yoga. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
You're good.
And this is live. Look, I've turned off my messages. I don't know why it's still making a sound, but
we don't hear it.
We can't hear it on our end.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No. So you're good.
Fine. Oh my God, I can stop worrying then. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay, sorry. So then I got back home, and that night my friend texted me and was like, do you want to come to this party? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she said, come meet at my hotel, we'll get ready. And as soon as I walked in, she said, do you want a line? And I was like, yeah. And then 48-hour bender. And after that, I woke up and thought, I am never going to fucking change. This is my life. I felt so hopeless. And I think loads of people that listening would have experienced that feeling of actual hopelessness where you don't see things getting better. And then I called a friend of mine. I was like, what do I do? And she said, you should listen to this podcast on manifesting. And I thought, fuck it, I'll try anything. So I listened to this podcast, and 2 weeks later, on the 7th of June, a man named Wade messaged me on a dating app called Raya. And a year to the day, on the 7th of June, 2019, our baby boy Wolf was born.
Wow.
Now, for 5 years on, my life is incomparable. Every single aspect of my life has transformed beyond belief. And I thank all of it. I thank manifesting for all of it. And I started basically kind of developing this career in self-help, I knew that that was my purpose. I knew that manifesting for me is like the umbrella of self-development and all healing falls underneath it. And then I came up with my 7 steps in January 2020, started doing webinars over the pandemic. It grew, the community grew. 2021, I decided to write the book. And by 2022, it was out. And now hundreds of thousands of people have read it and followed it. And I'm so honored to share it.
That is incredible.
That's amazing.
What a
I have
story.
chills.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a story.
Thank you.
That is amazing. How has been the release of Manifest Diving Deeper?
The second one, yeah, good. It's been also like in the charts all year, and like writing a book is the hardest, definitely most challenging thing I've ever done, like career wise. You put your life in, and I only had 8 weeks to write each book, so
Wow.
I was just like night and day, just like at my kitchen table writing. But
On top of being a mom.
Pardon?
On top of being a mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredible.
So, it's a really rewarding, especially with a self-help book, like to have people come up to you and say, your book changed my life is such a special feeling. And, it's worth every minute that you spend writing it.
I completely agree with you. I think one of the things I love the most is when someone tags me in something that they read from my book. Because like you said, you poured yourself into it, and then people take it, they digest it, and then how they respond to it means so much.
Yeah.
So I think that's such a great feeling. And now, I mean, you have 2 Sunday Times bestsellers. That's incredible. It's incredible.
Aw,
So
thank
after
you.
everything you've gone through to be where you're at now, like, you should be proud. I don't even know you yet. I'm like,
Yes,
damn,
I
I'm so
know.
proud of this girl. I'm so happy to have her on here. So happy to learn from her. So
This is the best interview ever. Can I do this every week?
come on, come join us. Help us learn and manifest. Let's manifest some great things tonight. How about that?
Yes, I'm here for it.
Let's do it. So usually we start every show with a hard-hitting question. And Katie informed me that you have one for me.
I do. And I think it's a good one.
I think it's a great
So I was
one.
really excited to come on and talk about relationships and love because it's something that I love talking about but don't get much of an opportunity to. So when I had to think of this question, I got quite excited. So, okay, in relationships, I think it's important to work on your own self-worth and work on your own inner healing so that you don't look to your partner to complete you or validate you. Do you look back on any relationships and recognize that you put too much expectation on the other person because you hadn't healed enough within yourself?
Ooh.
Damn.
Ooh.
We'll have to digest that one. So what we do, Roxy, here is I'm definitely going to go to a song on this one. We get live radio, so we get to play music too. So I'm going to digest that one and think about it. So do you have a song for us?
Oh, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Any song?
Any song.
Shit, there's quite a lot of pressure to choose like good music. Okay, there's one that I quite like. It's Teardrops by Neil Francis, Neil Francis.
Teardrops by Neil Francis. I don't
This
know.
will be
It's a
new to me.
cover song, but it's the first one I could think of. It's on my Spotify.
Here we go.
Stop.
All
We're
right.
back.
We're back.
And we're back. We're back. That was a quick 8 seconds. All right. Here we go. So we have Roxie Nafousi joining us right now. She's a 2-time Sunday bestseller from her first book, Manifest, about 1.5 years ago. And now her second book, Manifest, Diving Deeper. And she hit me with a hard-hitting question. Her question was, in relationships, I think it's important to work on your own self-worth and work on your own inner healing so that you don't look to your partner to complete or validate you. Do you look back on any relationships and recognize that you put too much expectation on the other person because you hadn't healed enough within yourself? And immediately, yes. Immediately, my answer is yes. And I think it was more of a needing of validation. Like, I always felt like I had to, because we would get in these arguments or these fights, and I'm like, are we going to be good? Are we good? Because I was so in love with that person at the time. I just wanted to make sure we're going to make it to the next week, But then I was avoiding all the red flags or the arguments or the toxic reasons why we were in these situations. And I think if I would have been more in tune with my self-worth and what I really believe in myself and whatnot, and had more self-worth for myself, I don't think I would have been in those situations. I think that relationship also brought up a lot of my childhood trauma and childhood trust issues that I've had from seeing my parents that I was so concerned about seeing in our relationship. And it's crazy is I thought about all these negative things in the relationship, and then they all came true. And so it's interesting we're talking about manifesting. You asked that question. You know, every negative thing that I thought was going to happen or I was scared of happened, instead of just focusing on the positive things. And so I think sometimes in relationships I have so much fun early on, and I look at the positive, and everything that starts unfolding turns negative, and then I start looking at negative things constantly, and then it just grows and grows and grows. So that's my answer to that one.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think I think it's always so amazing when people can just like be vulnerable and like honest about where they maybe like didn't show up right, or they could have done better, or there was something they could have learned from. But I think it's so true that when we're, you know, if our self-worth is so low, or like we don't value ourselves enough, then we absolutely ignore all those red flags, because we just want to know, all we want to know is, are we lovable? That's like the only question we care about in that moment. And so what you said makes so much sense.
I think so many times too, like I'm like, how could you really like me? And all these people out here and everyone hitting you up, how do you want to be with me? And I think that's something that like I was so insecure about, you know, and then I look back at it and I learned from it. I was like, I just have to be happy for who I am and what I bring to the table, and know that that's enough for the right person. Which at that time, it was never enough, and I should have known that wasn't the right person.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I hate that you felt like that.
Yeah, it was rough. I'd be in the bathtub a lot, upset. Katie would have to come pull me out of the bathtub all the time. She's like, all right, knocking on the door. All right, Tyler, time to get out. Time to grow up.
Pull it together.
Yeah, pull it together.
We got this.
But yeah. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah, God, yeah, for sure. I think in many different ways and in different stages. I think I had one relationship when I was 21 and he was much, much older than me. He was 25 years older than me. And I constantly would like push him to like test, like, but how much do you love me? So he'd be like, you know, really like juvenile, like he'd be like, I miss you. And I'd be like, do you? Like, no, you don't. Like that really annoying kind of behavior that you're just constantly trying to push and test someone's love. So that one day, if they kind of like do one thing wrong, you're like, see, I told you. And that is all just coming from that lack of self-worth. And I think, you know, and we'll go into it, when we talk about like manifesting relationships, I would say it's almost the hardest one for people, because for us to feel truly like lovable and worthy of unconditional love is so hard for so many of us, because not that many of us as children were actually given unconditional love. Because I think, like, this is just my theory, but I think that a lot of us are given conditional love. So it's, if you are well behaved, if you are good, if you listen to me, if you follow the rules, I will love you. That's how a child receives it. But if you are angry, you don't share your toys, if you get pissed off, if you don't do as I say, I will punish you, aka I will withdraw that love. That's how a child receives it, because the child can't really like understand. They only understand if they're given a safe space to feel like validated, seen, heard, loved. And so then we start to develop this feeling that we're not loved in all our aspects and in everything that we are. We're only loved when we're good, or when we're molding ourselves to be what our parents or guardians or caretakers want us to be. And so then to feel that we are worthy of love just as we are is really difficult.
I'm just thinking right now, parenting is hard as shit.
I was just thinking, because it's like you want to reprimand them when they're not doing something properly, but at the same time, you don't want to make them not feel loved.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
But I heard this interesting thing about children, is that if something like if they've experienced some kind of trauma or something happens to them, it won't have the same effect if they're given a safe space to feel held and validated. So if you're telling your child off, for example, and you're kind of trying to set boundaries, if you're still able, or let's say for me, okay, if Wolfie is like crying and having like a tantrum because I'm not giving him like a second dessert, instead of kind of shouting at him in response, I'm able to meet him and just firstly just ask him to like tell me how he's feeling. Like, are you feeling angry? And my first response is always, that's okay. That's okay that you're feeling angry, so that they feel validated in any emotion, because we are all allowed to feel the full spectrum of emotions. And then explain to him, you know, and look, 3-year-olds aren't always going to understand when you're explaining it. Sometimes he's like, huh, what the fuck? I just want my ice cream, or I just want my dessert. But other times you can see that he is really listening, but I'm not punishing him and trying to withdraw my love because he's reacting in a certain way.
Gotcha. So it's just all about the approach.
Oh, of course it is. Of course.
And validating the feelings. I think that right
Roxie,
there
I'm
makes
need you to come tutor me whenever I have kids one day on how to make sure I'm doing unconditional love.
I'll do it for it.
So the biggest thing you talk about, I think one of the biggest things you talk about in your book is the 7 steps to living your best life for manifestation. I would love to break that down with you, and you kind of lead us through this. And so I think we all can learn from it.
Amazing. Sounds good.
Let's do it.
So the 7 steps. So I came up with these 7 steps to manifesting. And in the book, it's 7 steps that will basically cover everything that you need to know about manifestation. And I'll start by saying that manifesting is, for me, a self-development practice, and I live and breathe these 7 steps. So I don't, it's not a ritual. It's not just about doing a vision board or visualizing what you want. It's not even just about positive thinking. It's a really full practice, and there's so many different elements to it. So all of them can be applied to manifesting anything you want, but I guess today we'll focus on manifesting love and healthy relationships. So the first step is be clear in your vision. So you can't get to where you want to go until you know where it is you are headed. So when you're thinking about a kind of, I'm going to assume that the people like this is kind of, we're manifesting a new relationship, but obviously, and that's how I'm going to like talk about the steps. But if you also want to manifest like a healthier relationship, you can also do that. The same principles apply. So if you were to kind of like think about what you want in a relationship, what I always ask people to do is to really think about how they want to feel in the relationship. So it's not kind of saying, okay, I want to manifest someone who's this tall and has this color eyes. Like that's really that's not the point of this. The point is to manifest how you want to feel within your life and therefore within this relationship. So you might, for starters, you might want to feel safe within the relationship to be completely yourself. You might want to have really open and honest communication. You might want to have a partner that you can travel with, that has the same kind of like love for adventure as you. You might want to manifest that somebody also wants to have children because that's something that you want soon. So it's really thinking about those kind of qualities within the relationship. And at this kind of first step, I kind of suggest doing a vision board. So writing down all these things and kind of qualities and how you want to feel within the relationship. And you can do a visualization meditation. So you can fall asleep at night visualizing and immersing yourself in the feeling of being in your perfect relationship. So how it feels to be in love, that like warm, fuzzy, brilliant feeling of falling in love.
The best.
Is the best. So those are the 2 kind of ways that I like to kind of practice, be clear in your vision. But I would really say that at this point, what I think is so important about this when you're coming to like dating or you're starting to like find your partner is that you really do want to focus on like exactly what you are looking for, because otherwise when you start dating, you're so concerned. We go into dates and we'll think, oh, I really hope this person likes me. But what we should be saying before we go on a date is, I really hope I like them. Mm-hmm. And so being clear in your vision at the very start allows you to get into this mindset. Here are the things I'm looking for.
I think it needs to be repeated again. I think that's a really good point when you go into dating.
Yeah.
Like
I heard that.
Yeah. I hope I really like them instead of I hope they really like me. You know,
same with a job interview too.
Approach.
Yeah, I think that's I just didn't want to overlook that. I think that's a very good, simple point, but very, very valid and true that's easily overlooked. It's all about the other person, but it's hopefully I like that person.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Because otherwise what happens is on the dates, because you're so concerned with feeling validated and feeling like, oh, good, they like me, so that your ego is satisfied, that you're completely ignoring, is there actual chemistry?
Facts.
Are they actually the person that I want, kind of person I want to be with? What are the red flags? You don't see any of it because all you're thinking about is, am I worthy? Am I lovable? Am I lovable? Am I good enough? So having this clarity on who you want to be with, what kind of relationship you want, will set you up so that you know your non-negotiables. You know that if you meet someone and you've said really clearly that you are looking to settle down and have kids soon because that is just like what you want, and you meet them on the first date, they're like, I definitely don't want kids. You could so easily ignore that, or you could say, no, I actually was really clear in what I wanted, and so this isn't the person for me because they're not aligned at all on what we like. Or you might have said that, you know, that you really want someone, like I said, with who's willing to travel, okay, and whose adventure is really important too. And then you meet this person and all you're thinking about is, I hope they like you. And then when they say, yeah, I'm actually like, I've got no interest in travel, I really love being in my hometown, like this is where I'm comfortable, I'm a homebody, okay, don't ignore that. Like, think about what they're saying and go, okay, that's not aligned with what I'm really looking for.
Yep.
And then, because otherwise also you're just hoping that person's going to change for you, which is not healthy either, because I think unconditional love is loving.
It's not our job to change people, I don't think.
Yep.
Exactly.
And it's not our job to change for people. So.
Exactly. I love it. By the way, I'm so happy to be talking about this because like I said, I haven't talked like the full 7 steps just regards to relationships. So it's fun. So thank you.
Heck yeah, let's do it. I'm loving this.
So step
I need a pen and paper.
I was gonna say the same thing.
So step 2 is remove fear and doubt. So the kind of secret of manifesting is that you only manifest what you subconsciously believe you're worthy of receiving. So if you want to manifest your dream partner or a healthy relationship, but you don't believe you're worthy of receiving it, you won't be able to attract it into your life. And that's why I think those kind of cliches of saying, you know, people always say, you know, you attract how you attract people in your life who will treat you the way that you feel about yourself. It's so true. Like, you really do attract where you are at and where your self-worth is at, and you'll attract people that will treat you in a way that mirrors that. And so to manifest the kind of really deeply loving and committed and healthy relationship, you have to believe you're worthy of it. But this is why, to me, manifesting is a self-development process, because removing fear and doubt, which is your insecurities, your low self-worth, your limiting beliefs, is not something that anybody can do overnight. But you can do 2 things. Firstly, you can start to reprogram your subconscious beliefs. So we have something called neuroplasticity, which is our brain's ability to form new neural pathways. So if we use things like affirmations regularly, if we fall asleep to affirmation meditations, one thing that I love doing, if we change the way that we speak to ourselves, if we change our language, even if we start changing our language from if I meet someone to when I meet someone, okay, like little language shifts like this, we can start to reprogram our subconscious beliefs. Another way that we can do this with the removing fear and doubt is to go much, much deeper. So for me, inner child work has been instrumental in changing how I feel about myself. I think it's so powerful. But any opportunity you have to work with therapists, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, I'm just here for. It's all any kind of healing that you can do on a deeper level to get to the root cause of all that pain and insecurity is a must. I don't think anybody can skip this step. Like, you just can't. If you want to manifest whatever you want to manifest into your life, you have to work on the healing process first. And it's ongoing. Like, I'm still on it. You know, everybody is ongoing with their healing journey, but each kind of layer that you peel, you reach a new level of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
So
that reminds me of yachts.
I love
Doesn't it remind you of the...
Love it. About reprogramming, reparenting.
Yeah, reparenting yourself almost.
Exactly. So step 3 for the manifesting, step 3 is align your behavior. Now, I say for manifesting love, this is kind of like the simplest one, whereas for something like your career, it's probably the biggest one. So aligning your behavior is really all about taking action, stepping outside your comfort zones, taking risks, stepping into the character of your future self and embodying that person. So it's also about things like your daily routine, your habits, treating yourself with, you know, in a way that reflects this self-worth.
I need to get better at this one.
Pardon?
I need to get better at this one.
Yes. Okay, so I'll tell you why. Because, you know, I said that we manifest what we subconsciously believe we are worthy of receiving. Well, the way that we treat ourselves day to day is a direct reflection of how we feel about ourselves. Damn. And I believe that this sends a message to the universe. Now, to me, the universe is just an energetic force. To some people, it's God. To other people, it's a spiritual realm. For me, it's just this energy field around us that has this like infinite power. But if we are kind of thinking about this life that we want, but day to day, we aren't doing the basics, like drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, like taking our supplements, eating nutritious food. If we're not even doing the basics to look after ourselves, how can we really begin to show the universe that we have self-worth and we believe we're worthy of receiving?
Preach,
So this so much kind of, so this step there's so much in this step, but it's really about forward momentum and doing the work, taking action, like not sitting around and waiting for things to happen, but being like really proactive. With manifesting love, I guess it's really just about putting yourself on dating apps, allowing your friends to set you up, just putting yourself out there and being willing to open yourself up to it. It's just about that openness and stepping into or putting yourself in situations where you might meet someone. Okay, because we can't kind of lament that we've been single for ages, but then all we do is stay in every night and refuse to go on dating apps and never let anyone set us up on blind dates or whatever it is. Then we have step 4, overcome tests from the universe. So this is my favorite step because this is the one that we most need in real life. So life is always going to hand us challenges, obstacles, hardships. You know, I always say there's a lot in our life that we can't control, but the things that we can, we should. But I see all of those as tests from the universe, and they're tests that really are asking us, like, how willing are you to like keep going, to persist, to show up? And tests kind of come in 2 ways. So they can come in really obvious ways. So for example, with manifesting love. So let's say that you've put this person on your vision board. You have like real clarity on who you want to attract into your life. You've worked on your healing journey. It's ongoing. You're feeling, you know, you've done some really deep work on it. You've been putting yourself out there. And then you go on a date and it's amazing. Like the chemistry is fire. You feel like this is it. Oh my God, I manifested this person. And then they start playing hot and cold. That is like a very clear test. And the test is saying, how worthy do you really think you are of true love? Are you going to like stay with this person and keep like playing this out, even though they're clearly not showing up for you in the right way? Or are you brave and courageous enough to go, no, I know I'm worth more than this, and walk away? So I think that when you're manifesting your perfect partner, you will be met with these tests. The test can also come in the form of an ex. So I always say that if loads of exes are popping into your life, you're about to meet the one, because
you gotta deflect them. You gotta get them out of here.
Get them out. You can't be casually texting your exes because the ex represents this like really familiar, comforting feeling. And again, the question is, are you going to continue and go back into this dynamic knowing it's not right for you, or can you really close the door? And a lot of this step is about closing the door. It's about not settling. It's about knowing when you need to create space for more to enter your life, and let go of what's no longer serving you. And with all the challenges that are coming, how can you learn from them, take value from them, and allow them to build who you become, who you are becoming. And I think that after every every difficult time of your life, every rock bottom, there's a leveling up on the other side, and you are rewarded with abundance. So look out for the tests if you're dating, and definitely learn to walk away. Like, it's so hard, but it's so empowering. So I was dating in like November, December. And I think because I've done so much of this work, by the second day, I was like, oh, I'm never going to see you again. But I just knew, because I was like, oh, I know, like, there's so many red flags in like the first 3 things that you've said, and like, you're so lovely. And there's nothing, like, I could absolutely, old me would have just carried it on for a bit.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Let it play out.
Really empowering. Did I miss something?
No. We were just agreeing with you.
I have a question. Did you tell this person that, or did you just walk away?
Yeah.
You told him that?
No, I said.
Good for you. Wow. Very good.
Yeah. I was like, this would never work. He was like, what? Why? I was like, there are so many red flags. Our needs are so mismatched that we would just drive each other mad.
I love the realness.
And it was great. And
wow.
It really it was lovely. We like still speak every now and then, like very friendly, like amicable exchanges. But I was like, that's really cool, because I definitely wouldn't have done that, because I would have just wanted to see if they liked me. Like, I would have continued it. So this is the most empowering step. Like, when you get into the practice of walking away from all the situations in your life that aren't worthy of you, you build this like inner confidence that's unbreakable. Like, it's so powerful to like master this step. Step 5 is embrace gratitude without caveats. So I call it the manifesting sweet spot, which is knowing where you want to go whilst being entirely grateful for all that you already have. My mom is like Iraqi, and she used to say to me this like Arabic translation, which basically translated to, for every thanks you give, you get 1,000 in return. And it like describes this step so perfectly, that the more grateful you are, the more abundance you will attract into your life. And for me, it's about appreciating the ordinary, the mundane. And in my book, I have so many gratitude practices to help people like really shift their mindset. Again, it's about retraining your brain to focus on the good in your life. I was such a pessimistic person before, and now I'm just like annoyingly positive. But for people who are kind of looking for love, I think especially, it's really easy to be like, I can't believe I'm single. When's it going to happen? I hate this. All my friends are in relationships. And actually, it's about kind of turning that into gratitude. Like, I'm so grateful I have the freedom, because once you meet someone, especially, once you meet the one, that's it. Your life changes for a long time. So it's about enjoying that period of growth, being grateful for it, appreciating the moments, rather than constantly like wishing and waiting for the future to meet you. Then step 6 is turn envy into inspiration. Again, a really great step for manifesting love. So envy is this really low vibrational kind of emotion that we get that really stems from a place of fear. So it's that if you have something, there's less for me. And the antithesis of this is inspiration, which is that you have something and I can have it too. There's enough for us all. And that comes from a very abundant mindset. And what often happens is, we can look at people getting engaged in relationships on social media, having children, and we feel envious and we get jealous and we say, oh, I can't believe it. Another person's getting married before me, or whatever. We say those things either to ourselves or to our friends. And it's keeping you in this place of like lack and scarcity, because you're constantly reminding the universe that it's not happening for you. And actually what we can do is turn that into inspiration. And every time we see it, we can just say, oh, isn't love amazing? Like another like example of love, how beautiful. And you can even take it a step further. Like I honestly think watching rom-coms is a great thing to do when you're manifesting love.
I love me a good rom-com.
I love rom-coms.
I'm a McConaughey fan for all those rom-coms. He's the GOAT.
It's the best. It puts you in the mindset of love, and you like see all these love stories, and it can make you feel inspired and feel good. So turning envy into inspiration is and actually I would say that it's also about like turning the envy around other people into inspiration. I mean, in general, that's what I talk about with this step, but here too, because I think if you're constantly comparing, if you're a woman comparing yourself to other women, or you're a man comparing yourself to other men, and then you're constantly feeling like you're not good enough, of course, it's going to impact how well you manifest. And I think when it comes to love and relationships, it's not about, I think it's understanding that it really is just like an energy connection. It's not about like if we are perfect humans, or if we look a certain way, or if we have a certain job, we earn enough money. It's as simple as, is there an energetic connection? Because you can look like a supermodel and be the wealthiest person in the world, and those two people can meet. It does not mean that they're attracted to each other. And I just, so we just like, it seems silly that we're constantly trying to make ourselves as perfect as possible and hope that that will help us find love. Actually, when we can appreciate all our wonderful uniqueness and know that when we meet that person, there's something that goes beyond all those kind of attributes, and you just meet on this soul level. I think it's actually so liberating, because then you don't take it personally when it doesn't work out, because it's not personal, like at all. I really believe that if two people don't click, it's nothing to do with either of them. It just wasn't right. Which kind of brings me on to step 7, which is trust in the universe. And this step is all about surrender. It's just this knowing feeling that you don't know how, but you just know it will work out the way it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. It's about trusting in divine timing. It's about letting go of any of that like desperate, forceful energy, and just surrendering to the way it's all unfolding, and having that magnetic, unwavering confidence that the universe is behind you and doing this for you. And that's my 7 steps.
I love it.
Incredible.
I love it.
Incredible.
I feel like I need to wake up to that every single day just as a reminder.
Good thing we recorded it.
Good thing this is recorded. Yes, I need your book next to my bed.
Yeah, no, I mean, like something I kept thinking about as you were speaking is, it's about, one, believing yourself, creating that self-worth for yourself. And I think my biggest issue is I self-sabotage my own situations. I start thinking about, I give myself every reason why it won't work before I even try to make it work. I'll leave a date and I'm like, that was amazing. Then I'll get home and I'll sit on it for a little while, and I'll look at, the things she's doing on social media or whatever it is. And I'm like, yeah, this will never work. But then I've told her to negate, like, we just had an amazing date.
Right.
And I'm like self-sabotaging already when I hadn't even got to date number 2 or 3 yet, Yeah. So, what you say, what you think, can really, really put you in situations you don't even belong in,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think, the more you work on that kind of like, for you, like that inner healing, that like any kind of like reparenting, any inner child work, I think will help. And also just having that kind of awareness that, look, I know this is what I'm doing. And in that moment, you almost have to like, that's when you have to show up and persist through it. You have to like force yourself on that second date, like, and be able to like, as you approach it, like make sure that you're like talking to that inner voice as another person. Like that inner voice isn't you. It's not who you are. It's just this like monster in your mind. And so you could always start like questioning and be like, fuck that. Like, that's not true. We don't know that. That's not a fact.
Do you still hear that voice?
Yeah. You have to trust. I always say like the other person will tell you really, like they tell you how they're feeling. And either we ignore you know, like if someone says to us, I'm not looking for a relationship, we can just completely ignore that. Like, but in the same way, if they tell you, hey, I really liked you, that date was so great, I can't wait to see you again, we can also ignore that. But listen to what the people are telling you.
But what if you get both of those in the same sentence? Help!
Run!
Like, I'm not ready to date you, but I have such a fun time with you. Let's do it again next week. I'm like,
no.
What are we doing? I love her. Don't tell me that.
Asking for a friend.
But what if you do get both and the person is just not ready right now? So would you go the course and go out for another date to hang out to see if it leads to something else?
I mean, I would not personally, because
damn it, Roxie.
It's not your job to like wait around for someone to be ready. Because you don't know when that will be. And also you don't know if they're willing to do the work. Look, I think that people can absolutely like be unhealed in a relationship, but make it work because they are both willing to do the work on themselves and communicate and be really open, and it can absolutely work. But if you've gone on a first date with someone and they've said that, but they haven't given any kind of indication that they're willing to take ownership of it, to do the work, to have open communication, and it's not often that you find that, especially like really early on. I personally wouldn't waste my time, but look, there are always some exceptions. So I'll say that.
I'm gonna have to watch the rom-com that fits this category just to feel
validated.
validated,
No, we're working on not.
Oh, Lord. Roxie, I just want to say one thing real quick. The comments in here are so positive, and they're loving this right now. You got people saying, I'm going to buy this book. I'm so happy I'm hearing this right now. They're asking you, does she do one-on-one coaching? People are really loving and eating up what you have to say.
Oh,
and I think
I forgot people were listening.
Yes, it's live. It's live. Yeah.
Guys.
And but I think because manifesting, I keep saying manifesting.
it's
I love how you say it.
I do
think
too.
it's the cutest thing.
Me too. I love
She
it.
called me cute.
It's like he wants a manicure while he's manifesting.
So
Shout out to Megan Elizabeth. She just bought your Audible version just now. So that's really cool.
say that again.
Megan Elizabeth just bought your Audible version just now.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be in your ear for hours.
Is it you speaking on the audiobook?
yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
love
dying.
that. Those are my
That's the one I
favorite.
want then.
Yeah. Mine, that's it. But no, I think why like there's so much feedback is because everyone has a manifesting issue. You know, we don't do it enough. We don't do it correct.
Or there's a step that we need to like really work on.
Because when you went through your 7 steps, there was about 2 or 3 that really stood out to me that I need to work on this more. You know, the self-worth part, the letting go part. You know,
Yeah.
You know,
So many people need that.
Yes.
So many.
even the simple part of like instead of I hope they like me, it's I hope I like them.
Yeah.
You know, and then what I thought was so cool is because you've been through your own steps, you're able to go into a date, which you said in the past, you would be like, you would look past them. But these red flags, you're like, nope, I love you, you're great, but we're not for each other. You know, and that's powerful. That's so empowering.
Yeah. Very.
So empowering.
Very.
I also think like each time you do know what's best for you, it gets easier and easier. Like the first time you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm rejecting somebody. I'm going to hurt their feelings. I'm going to do this. And then you start reframing it to be, oh, I'm protecting myself. Like I know what's best for me. Each time you go through it, it gets easier and easier. And you build that confidence. That's like what you're talking about. It's like rock solid of I know what I want.
I'm going to text her tonight.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to text her tonight. I'm manifesting and you better get on board or get lost.
Let that be your opening line.
Report back on that.
Yeah.
How that one goes.
I'm manifesting. I'm a dangerous man now. But no, I just think it's, I mean, I'm enlightened by this because I think there's so many things that not even in work, I see steps that you know that are different, not necessarily than relationships. Even at work, I see things where because of having been in this business for so long, you know, I started a construction company recently, and I haven't been in this business so long, so I get so my self-worth or my self-belief in myself is lower when I'm around certain people because I think they know so much more than me, you know. So I'm like scared to speak up or scared to be myself or say things or you know. And
That envy step.
and Katie keeps kicking me in my ass. She's like, you got this, you know.
I
Do it.
totally. It's so funny. I had a meeting with someone the other day, and like at work now, I am genuinely like probably the most confident when I'm at work. But because I always was so used to feeling like, oh, please, people like me. Like I just felt like such a loser all the time. And I had a meeting with someone, and he was like super senior, like really respected, and it was like a one-on-one. And I said to my friend, I was like, I reverted to being like a 13-year-old. I was so timid. I felt so nervous. I was like a shadow of myself. So I totally relate to that. And I think that is just so kind of imposter syndrome. It's just, we all are just kind of like still so childlike in our worth. And then I feel like it just comes out.
Yep.
And we're all just trying to be like, no, you're like a grown up now, and you're actually really good at what you do too. You can allow that to shine, but it's hard.
Is there a simple mantra that you say or believe in or do that
I
helps you
love
snap out of that if you ever feel that way?
Yeah, so I love I am powerful, I am magnetic, I am enough.
I am powerful. I am magnetic. I am enough.
Oh, I am enough. Oh,
I
no,
love
I don't
it.
have it on today.
Phil, I have been obsessed with your like smiles this whole show. You are making me feel so good about myself.
Oh, me? Well, I'm really into what you're saying. Listen. You're saying a lot of things I believe in already, which is awesome. So,
Well, thank
congratulations to the books.
Phil, you were speaking earlier about how you're such a big believer in manifesting.
Oh, every day.
So what is that for you? What does that look like for you?
Oh God, I've manifested pretty much everything up into my life to today, even my son. I'm going to start with I have 4 daughters too, by the way. So I manifest.
goodness.
Yes.
you. Wow.
You be humping.
I really manifested to be surrounded by women because I love being around women.
Oh,
And look what happened. I got 4 girls.
that's amazing.
I'm not sure if that was what I was talking about, but you know what I mean. That was a joke. Sorry.
That's so amazing.
Yes.
What's it like having a boy now? Is it
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. And I have to tell a quick story. My wife manifested before she met me. She had a vision board when we first started dating, and it had a house, cars, everything she wanted. And in the middle, it was a little mixed boy with dreadlocks wearing a Spider-Man costume. But she's never dated a black guy before. So how do you manifest that? And now we have that today. She still has that vision board now. You got to see it.
That's
when
incredible.
you come over. That gives me goosebumps as what you were saying. And I'm like, wow, talk about manifesting something. And now we're together. 5 years married now. So
cute. It's so powerful. Vision board.
so powerful.
Do you
so
have a vision
powerful.
board?
Yeah, I do one every New Year's Eve.
Really?
Yeah, they're so
My
good.
sister and all her friends, she's in high school. They did one this year. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
We're gonna do homework.
Yeah.
Do you,
I love
so
that.
do you do
I
do you
love
do a vision board for the year, or is it for like a life vision board?
I do for the year, and I have like a step-by-step guide in the book. And honestly, the things I put in there are so outlandish, and they actually happen, and it's nuts. I'm sure my Instagram following are like, my community are so like every 5 minutes. I'm like, I manifest, guys, this was on my vision board. At some point, they're gonna be like, we don't believe you anymore. It's really true. Like
What-
everything I put on there does happen.
What is something that was super outlandish that you put on there that came true?
I put on, so before this book came out, like I said, I had 8 weeks to write it. Nobody had read it. I honestly thought it was like, I really didn't think it was even any good. But when you do a vision board, you can't allow any of your insecurities to like come into play. You dream big. So I put Sunday Times Bestseller, multiple languages. Like this, there was no reason for me to put these things. American publishing deal. I put American morning TV, and then I went on the Today Show.
Wow.
And then in the middle, I just put Jay Shetty. And,
Yes.
Jay's got one of the biggest podcasts in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, there's no way, like, how could that happen? And yeah, by October that year, I was in his house in LA. doing
Get
the podcast.
out of
That is
here.
Yeah.
incredible.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that was before the book came out. So
Wow.
this stuff is like so powerful.
Damn. I've never been one to do a vision board, to do New Year's Eve resolutions, because I'm always like, man, that stuff don't come true,
Right.
Just work hard, put your head down. But I'm motivated to do one now. So
Yay.
I am going to do one. I'm going to make it. I'm going to tag you in it. I'm going to share it with you once I do
Oh my
it.
God, that will make me
And we're
sad.
gonna get your book and we're gonna go through the steps to do the vision board correctly.
I love this.
Yes. We'll send you some. We'll send you all some.
No, we're purchasing. We're supporters.
Yes, we are. Yes. I can't wait to buy it.
Supporters.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, I think right now is a good time to go to another song.
And then do some
Let's
callers
do some
when we
calls.
get
'Cause
back.
I know people want to talk to you, so I want to make sure
Perfect.
there's time for that. Cool. Shall I ask you for another song?
Can I choose wait, do you guys know Oasis or not?
No.
Oh my God.
Mike, you know Oasis?
No, don't worry.
No, you can educate us.
We're
This is
gonna go with we're just gonna go with Good as Hell, Lizzo,
good.
because it's so feel good.
Because that
It
is that
is-
shoulders back.
All right. Here it is. Good as Hell by Lizzo. And after this, we're going to take call-in. So see y'all in a little bit.
Well, I'm going to ask Tyler to put his headphones on and sing along.
I don't know the words. I don't think I've ever heard of this song.
And we are live.
And we are live. We are live. Guys,
Feeling good as hell.
it is that time of the show right now. We got Roxie here, Roxie Nafousi, 2-time Sunday bestseller for her book Manifest and Manifest Diving Deeper. We are about to go live. I know the chat's been blowing up, so I'm excited to get these callers on. I'm letting the calls come in. Let's do this. Here we go. We got Christine. Christine, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good,
We're
good.
good. We're good.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I literally have been wanting to learn to manifest and things like that for a really long time now. So it's been like super helpful to listen to this podcast and kind of just like hear the kind of steps. And I was wondering, the steps that you are talking about, do they have to be like in order? Like, can you kind of just like do it as you go? Like, do you have like a method for all of your steps?
Such a great question. And I think that basically, so the 7 steps, you don't do them one by one, apart from, I would say, like, be clear on your vision. So I would say that is kind of the first step, is, getting that clarity on what you want your life to look like. But with the rest, they are steps that you just live and breathe. So once you really get to know them, and both my books really help with like explaining everything that you need to know. And it's really easy to read, by the way. These aren't like dense books. They're just like really simple. But you just incorporate them into everything that you do day to day. And I know that can sound overwhelming, but actually once you get the hang of it, you realize that, yeah, I'm always manifesting. There's always a challenge coming up that I know now how to deal with better, or I know that I need to like take action every day to work towards my goal or my career goal. And I know that the way I speak to myself and the language I'm using and how to deal with the inner critic is also an ongoing process. So you're kind of using these steps all the time, but obviously sometimes like envy will come up. That's not going to be like every minute of the day or even every day, but you'll use that when it comes up. So you're not doing them in order, but getting comfortable enough that you're always like living and breathing them. And then manifesting becomes effortless and everything just starts to align.
Okay, cool. Because I was kind of thinking too, like, do you have like anybody that like obviously you're gonna like sometimes like starting all of these steps like have things where like you kind of fall out of it, like the self-worth and like that kind of thing. Do you have somebody that like kind of like puts you in check when you're maybe like necessarily having like a bad day, or like you're not really staying on like your 7-step thing, like for the beginning of like putting it all together. I don't know if I worded that really.
No,
right.
you're basically asking who's your accountability to keep these steps going.
Yeah. Do you have anybody that like sees you like accountable, or do you kind of just try to keep yourself accountable, or like how did you start with everything?
I keep myself accountable, but one of the first things I did was listening to like positive affirmation playlist falling asleep, because I wanted to like send positive messages to my subconscious, and affirmation meditations are like a really powerful way to use to do that, and it requires zero effort. You don't even have to be like consciously like listening to them. So that was like a ritual, I would say, that I have did since day one. But I will say, you know, when bad days come, no matter what stage you're at your journey, it's okay. Like, you won't learn to manifest and then every day you're going to feel like high vibe, I'm good, I'm manifesting. Like, honestly, in January, I had basically had a breakdown and was in the worst place I'd been in years. And that's okay. That's just life. But what I knew was like I remained really hopeful. I knew the tools to use. I wasn't judging it, and I knew I'd come out the other side. So it's not, the goal isn't to feel good every day, but when this starts to sink in and it becomes like a part of like who you are, even on the tough days, like it will help guide you through that time. But in the beginning, don't put like too much, like I wouldn't put so much pressure on yourself to like, I think people can get this a bit wrong with anything self-help, where they just want to like be perfect or do it perfectly, and that's not the goal. Just do your best, use the tools, commit to them, be consistent, and be clear on like why you're doing that, because that will help you on the journey.
Okay, awesome. That's definitely very helpful. Okay, one last question. Do you do any like self-coaching or anything like that, or do you just like kind of recommend people to your audio or your book?
What was the question?
She's asking you, do you do any like individual coaching, or do you just recommend people?
Oh, no, I don't do one-to-one coaching anymore. I did for like years. I don't now. I host a lot of like webinars and workshops, and I've got an Ask Roxie webinar coming up in April, which is so like amazing for the community, and it's all just like Q&A, and like we get deeper together. But I would say start with the book. You'll be surprised how much you'll learn in that time.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, because yeah.
Thank you so much, Christine.
I've always been like super interested in the whole manifesting thing, and I hear a lot of people talk about how it's really worked for them, and I just feel like I've been kind of stuck with trying to figure out how to do it.
Oh, well, I'm
Especially
genuinely
with, like,
so
the whole
excited for this new
relationship thing
chapter
as
for
well.
you.
Well, we're gonna get there, Christine, together, because I'm gonna start manifesting too the right way.
Heck yeah, we can do it together, guys.
Got it. Thanks for always calling, always hanging out with us, Christine. You're the best.
Love you guys.
Talk soon. Love you.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
She's the best.
Bye.
All right, let's see if we can get someone else on here. You good for one more call?
Yes.
You're the best. Here we go. We got Allie on the line. Allie, how you doing today? You got on? Oh, there she goes.
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for letting me in on the call. I do have a question that I think a lot of people may struggle with. How do you manifest when you don't necessarily believe it to be true yourself? Like, how do you switch that mindset of self-doubt?
So that's definitely the ongoing like healing process. So what you can do is like, I kind of share loads of different techniques, but things like affirmations or mantras is like such a powerful tool to use, because as we kind of said in the beginning, you don't need to believe it to be true when you're saying it, because your subconscious will believe it to be true. So if you are currently saying to yourself, I'm no good, it's not going to happen for me, it won't work out for me, your subconscious will trust that and take that as truth, and then align everything with that. if you start saying affirmations repeatedly, such as I am enough, I am strong, I can do anything I put my mind to, I am lovable, I'm worthy, your subconscious will just take that as truth. And when you say it enough, it becomes a belief, because a belief is just a thought that has been repeated so many times that it becomes so. So using like affirmations every day, waking up, repeating them 5 times, looking in the mirror, repeating them 5 times, like get into the habit of it. You will find that like when you first start saying them, you'll probably feel a bit silly. You'll feel really uncomfortable. You'll be like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I sound so stupid. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you become, until you get to a point where you can say it and you actually feel it, and then you actually believe it. But on top of that, there's, I mean, so many different ways that we can start to heal ourselves and heal our wounds and understand ourselves better. But the first step is just to get that awareness and make a commitment to yourself that you want to feel differently about yourself and believe something different about yourself.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. If you do things enough, you know, it just becomes like a part of you, I guess. So yeah, that makes sense. Thanks so much for sharing. This has been a really good like topic to talk about. So thank you for sharing.
Aww.
I
Thank
completely
you
agree.
so much.
Yeah, me too.
Ali, thanks for calling. Thanks for listening and joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Before we wrap here, for myself and for everyone listening, give us some homework.
Oh. Okay, so I think a good place to start would be with the vision board.
Mm-hmm.
So to create a vision board, you want to start with kind of getting a big sheet of card or a big piece of paper. And you can do it for kind of all areas of your life, but let's just do it for love, because we're talking about love today and relationships. And start thinking about how you want to feel within your relationship, the qualities you want, all those kind of things that we spoke about at the beginning. And I want you to paint like a really full picture of your kind of life with this person, what you want to be doing with them, what experiences you want to have together, how you want to feel, or as much detail as you can around what this relationship feels and looks like to you. And put the date of like 1 year from now. And when you've done it, you can use pictures and cutouts. Some people like doing that. I personally just like writing bullet points because I'm able to have much more clarity in that way. And you want to be as specific as you can. And then you hide your vision board away. So you put it away. Don't keep it out. Some people like to have their vision boards on their wall or on their screensavers or whatever. I don't think anybody will be as vulnerable and courageous with their dreams if they think that somebody else is going to see it. For you to be really honest and open with yourself about what you want, it needs to be personal and just something for you. And then put it away as a kind of like representation of surrender. You just know it's going to happen. And you're just going to put it out there to the universe and then do the work to make it happen.
All right. That's it.
I love it.
This is so awesome.
Yep.
Yep. Incredible. I love what this radio show is. This is amazing. Roxie, I mean, I can't thank you enough. The people in here and the comments are thrilled. We're thrilled. I mean, that was much needed for all of us. Really was very introspective for me, made me think about a lot of things in my own life. So one, guys, go out there and get her book. It's on Audible. People have already bought it in the chat. Her book, Manifest and Manifest Dive Deep. I can't thank you enough for coming on here. I got homework to do. I got a lot to get to. It means the world for you sharing your message with us. And anytime you ever need anything on our end to support, promote anything, please let us know. Once I leave here, I'm buying your books. So I can't wait. But thank you so much. And guys, that wraps episode 36 of the Everybody But Me show with Roxie Nafousi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roxie.
That was awesome. Thank you, Roxie.